Well, g'day Spurs fans, Paul Hotspur Hippie here, the only psychedelic soccer show on the internet. I hope you're all well. Taking a break from a long old stint, well not that long, in the Uber this morning. Greeted with the news this morning that Vicario has unfortunately fractured his ankle and has undergone surgery already. He's posted on Instagram, he's looking in good spirits, but it was a bit gutting hearing that, and instantly I went into a little bit of panic mode, but eventually settled down. I'll tell you why. But first off, let's hope Big Vic gets through his recovery quickly. Fractured ankle, I don't know how serious it is, I don't know how many weeks, I'm guessing 2 months at least, but hey, I'm no doctor, I'm just a humble hippie. Not as humble as Manchester City though. So we'll see how we go with that. I mean, that's the unfortunate news, because he had such a great performance against Manchester City. Stopped a series of shots, put a lot of the doubters, although for the life of me I don't know why people have been doubting Vicario in the first place. I think he's been excellent. I think he's the Premier League's best goalkeeper. I mean, I am a one-eyed Spurs fan, but that's the way I feel about it. All the hoo-ha about set-piece vulnerabilities and all that, I think it's just stuff and nonsense. We've conceded only 2 goals this year from set pieces, 1 from a corner and 1 from a free kick. So not too shabby, and he's kept a number of clean sheets this year. Another fallacy that has gone by the wayside about little old Tottenham Hotspur, by far the greatest team the Galaxy has ever seen. Now this morning in here it's quite funny, because I picked up this guy and he was wearing a blue Arsenal training top, and I thought, oh, here we go, I'm going to have a bit of fun and games here, because I was wearing this clobber. Didn't say a word, and I said, oh, you know, he's brought Arsenal, Tottenham, and there was immediately apparent a language barrier. So I was trying to explain, Tottenham, you know, Tottenham, your rivals, and he says, oh, Tottenham, we beat you the other week. I think, what's he on about the other week? Maybe he means the other month, other year, other decade. I don't know quite what the guy meant. Is he talking about underage, like academy football or the Women's League? I was scratching my head. He says, no, we beat you. And I said, oh, where are you from, brother? And he said, Turkey. And then the penny dropped. Galatasaray. So, of all my luck, I picked up a Galatasaray fan wearing an Arsenal top. And I said, why are you wearing an Arsenal top? And he said, oh, it's blue, I like the colour blue. So, fair enough, what can you argue with that? But there is a reason for this. It all ties full circle, because now we're going to be, after the services of Fraser Forster in goal. And, of course, it's always a bit nervy, a bit of a worry when you lose your main keeper. There's always going to be a step down, because they're number 2 for a reason, you know. But when you look at how Fraser Forster has performed for Tottenham, I think he's done really well. His first big stint, I remember, was when Hugo was injured, 18 months ago, maybe nearly 2 years ago. And really, back then, because Hugo was on the way down, I was thinking Fraser Forster is actually playing better than Hugo Lloris. Now, he's been in action a couple of times this year against Coventry, where, you know, having a bit of a heart-starting moment if it went to penalty shootouts, but it's a team game and we won the game and it didn't come down to that. But the reason I come back to Galatasaray is because even though we lost the game against Galatasaray, Fraser Forster had a fantastic game, didn't he? Fantastic game. And even though we did lose that game, he did keep the score sheet very respectable. So, look, as far as stopping shots, okay, not quite as good, but still decent enough that I think we can cope with it. Particularly now that our front third seems to be firing a lot more, like they did against Manchester City, Aston Villa. If we can keep on going with that, I'm going to forget about the Ipswich game. That was a whole team performance. That wasn't us just not taking chances. That was us being crap. So don't worry about that one. It might mean we may concede 1 or 2 more goals, but I think with the number of goals we're starting to score and we're starting to punish teams with, I don't think it's going to cost us results. You know, if we're talking about Vicario being about 2 months out of it. He may or may not be back before the Liverpool game. It's really Liverpool and Chelsea in that time frame. The tough games that we've got. Look, Roma, I think Fraser Forster was going to be playing anyway. Roma are on horrendous form at the moment. I think that we'll beat them. Fulham, I think we'll just outplay them. And I suppose if you're looking at where Fraser Forster has a real deficiency against Vicario, it would be how he plays out from the back. Now, it's not terrible. Now, and this is what I don't want to see. I don't want to start seeing loads of channels just putting Fraser Forster down and, no, that's that, we're buggered and all this sort of stuff, because when he's been called upon, he's been there. And now with the excitement of him having a good stint in the first team, I think he's going to be really up for it. And I'm so glad that he's actually had a little bit of match time already this season. He has been, I think Ange has played a very, very smart game this year with cycling round the squad, not just to keep people fresh for games, but also to get players used to playing minutes on the pitch, getting minutes into their legs. So even though Fraser's only played a couple of games, it's better than nothing. So I'm excited actually in some ways to see how we'll do. It's a challenge, it's a challenge. You're never going to get through a season scot-free. Other teams have had injury troubles. So have we, and I think out of all of the rivals, I think we're doing all right, man. We're doing a lot better than we did this year, than last year when our squad just wasn't up to scratch and they weren't up to speed, and we really did struggle for that period and we never got quite back. But this year, I think, like Ben Davis and Radu Dragashin showed at centre-half, that, the step down isn't as frightening as you may think. It's very competitive for places at Tottenham. So good luck to Fraser, man. I think he's up to it. I'm not particularly too concerned, actually. It is, like I say, it is a step down. And Vicario, he played apparently with 60 minutes with a fractured ankle, which in my mind puts him on the Bert Troutman scale of goalkeepers with injuries. Now, Bert's a clear 10 out of 10, playing, I think it's the 1956 FA Cup final for Manchester City, funnily enough, with a broken neck, a few smashed vertebra in his neck, carried on playing. So if that's a 10, maybe a broken ankle, fractured ankle, it could only be a 2 or a 3. But hey, it's on the scale of bravery, isn't it, to play through that. And he probably didn't even realise it was that serious. I don't think it's especially uncommon for sports people to have even fractures or breaks and kind of realise that they're in pain, but not realise that it's so serious until after a game. I haven't played football, but I have competed in sports. Actually, no, I did once. I was playing in a football game and I got some smashed ribs, but I kept on going. Breathing was a little bit tricky, but it's painful. But when you're running and the adrenaline takes over and it's all fine. And I smashed my ribs when I fell over skiing once and carried on going as well. So I don't think any finger should be pointed at Vicario for not knowing. It's not like he's got X-ray vision and can sort of say, oh yeah, there's a stage 2 fracture. I don't know what the stages are in fractures, just making it up. Stage 2 fracture going from my antefibrillata to my femoratus. So it's not on him. It's not on him. And I don't think there's any reason why our physio staff would be able to detect the fracture either. They didn't come on with a bloody X-ray machine, did they? So, but hey, look, I'm sure Vic's feeling a bit down in the dumps because we're flying at the moment. And I just want to send him my wishes, and I'm sure all my viewers would wish him well and a speedy recovery, and cheer him on, man, and welcome him back to the team. Now, as for Fraser Forster's distribution out from the back, like I say, it hasn't been like disastrous, so let's get that out of the way. It's just been maybe a couple of instances where it could have gone better. So it's up to our back four and Fraser to really get on that communication button and watch out for each other's backs to get us through this, and I'm sure we'll be able to do this. And the silver lining for me is that when Vacario does return to the team, possibly we will be even more organised at the back than we are at the moment. I mean, we were incredibly organised against Manchester City. It was amazing. But there's always room for improvement in these things. So, you know, these things, they're trials. I don't think it's a disaster. I did a stream this morning. My first reaction was, oh, bloody hell. But I did calm down. You know, sometimes when you just talk about these things and get it off your chest with people, and I think we've all come through it together on the stream, and we're kind of okay. So it's a bit of a setback, no doubt about it. But like all setbacks, you get through it, you learn something from it, and you come out the other side stronger than you were before. Now, what I really don't want to see is if Fraser does maybe take a couple of games to get up to speed, or maybe he does make a mistake that costs a goal. I don't want to see people getting on his back too much, because, you know, he's the guy we've got in there. He's going to do his best. He's a human being. And you know what? If he costs a goal, then we've got to make sure we score 2 more. That's all we've got to do. That's the way we've got to deal with this as a team. And I think we're getting really well equipped to be able to do that sort of thing and achieve those sorts of results. So, you know, good luck to Fraser Forster, man. I'm sure even though he's obviously maybe a little bit sad that Vicario's in hospital, it's a great opportunity for him to get some game time, get some glory out on the pitch, and we'll see what unfolds. But next game, Roma, I'm not too worried about that. I'm sure Fraser's going to do us proud. The team's going to do us proud. Till next time, folks, peace and love, man. Peace and love. And come on, you Spurs.